यजामहे सगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयममृतातो. Namaste. When we're talking about achieving our goals in life, many people leave something very important and very useful out, and that is their power of visualization, the power to use the mind to influence objective reality. Visualization is not just make pretend. It's simply a faculty that most people have not developed, but it's a major part of the way saints perform miracles. Now, we're not looking for miracles, most of us, but we do want to have the miracle of our own transformation, and we do need to accomplish things outwardly in our lives as well as inwardly. And it would serve us very well to cultivate this very powerful, but again, often hidden and often used against us by our own selves, this faculty of visualization. And how do I mean using it against ourselves? We visualize things not working out right. We visualize our failures unintentionally, but it nevertheless is having an influence on objective reality according to the power of our concentration, according to the power of our mind. And what we're going to do today in this class is to develop that power of visualization, to show you some ways that you can work on it through yoga practices, but we can work on this at any time. And as I say, it's a very, very important faculty. Yogananda said a very interesting thing about visualization. He said, most people don't have the patience to develop their power of visualization. I had the patience. It's that simple. It takes patience, but we're going to explore it today in a way that I think will make it also enjoyable. So let's begin. Corey will be helping today. Let's have a seat, either cross-legged on the floor or in a chair. So you can sit with a straight spine, chest lifted, chin level. And we're going to start with Surya Beda Pranayama, a little breathing technique that's wonderful for concentrating the mind and stimulating the mind, really waking up. It's not a complicated technique. We bring the first two fingers of the right hand into the palm, and we're going to use the tips of the little and ring finger when we close off the left nostril to inhale. We'll hold the breath, closing both nostrils, and then we'll exhale through the left nostril, holding the right closed with the thumb. Very simple, so always in through the right, out through the left. Let's try it. Sitting upright with the closed eyes and your gaze turned up to the point between the eyebrows. If it's uncomfortable to have your first two fingers in this position, you can place them at the point between the eyebrows instead, but it's preferable to have them in this mudra. Let's close off the left nostril and inhale through the right to a count of 6. Inhaling. Hold the breath, close both nostrils. Open left, exhale. Close left, inhale right. Hold both closed. Exhale left. Continue several more times. The 6 count if you like, or if you want to lengthen it to 8, please feel free. Just let the breath flow in through the right and hold it out through the left. And that holding time, concentrate deeply at the point between the eyebrows, the spiritual eye. And after your next exhalation through the left nostril, just let go of the breath and relax the right hand back to the lap and sit quietly. Just a few breaths can really freshen up your mind and concentrate your mind. Keep your eyes closed, gazing up to the point between the eyebrows. This is a key point for all of our exercises today. And let's open the eyes once again. We're going to do an exercise, a simple sitting exercise that Yogananda practiced in order to develop his power of visualization. And what it is we're going to gaze in front of us at whatever is in the room, not the screen you're watching, but the rest of the room. Gaze around you and just that end of the room. Don't try for the whole room. And take in the details of the room, all the shapes and the colors and the sizes and the relative sizes of everything you see. And you might even want to take just a small section of what you see so that you can reproduce it in your mind in a moment when we close the eyes. Okay, close your eyes now and try to, in your mind's eye, visualize what you were seeing before. Exactly what color are the things you were seeing? What shape? Where were they? What size were they? Of course, there are going to be pieces that you can't quite reproduce. So open your eyes again and gaze once again at what you were trying to reproduce. Fill in the empty spaces that you couldn't quite remember, and then close the eyes and try again how to reproduce this. In your mind's eye, don't try and see it with your physical eyes. No doubt there are still some missing pieces, so open your eyes and fill in those missing pieces. And then close your eyes. Reproduce what you see. And if you feel any missing pieces, any missing colors or shapes or sizes, open the eyes once again, one more time. Fill them in. Just really remember, what color was that? What size, shape? And then close the eyes again and reproduce it. All right, open the eyes again. Yogananda said that he practiced this exercise until he could reproduce every detail of the room that he was sitting in. Think of it. He could reproduce, he could remember and accurately represent in his mind's eye every detail of the room. This, he said, is an excellent exercise for training your ability to visualize. Now, this is just one element, the visual element of visualization. There are a number of other elements, and perhaps the most important of them is the element of feeling. We're going to get to that in our practice, but for now, let's warm up the body a little bit before we go into the asanas. So we're going to come up onto our knees. And we're going to do some side lunges to open up the hips, warm up the legs a little bit. Step the left foot out to the side. Keep the chest facing directly forward. And let's inhale and exhale into a side lunging position. Try to have the knee end up directly over the ankle. And then come back up. And again, exhale down. Inhale up. Third time, let's hold in the down position. You can rest your left elbow on the thigh and just let the whole pelvic region, hip region, release a bit. We're only doing a few warm-ups today, as in most days, so please do check in with our online warm-up video so that you can be more warmed up before you do these classes. Let's inhale up into a straight leg now. Exhale over to the side, stretching through the back of the leg. Open it up. Try to keep the spine pretty straight. Try not to compensate with your head. Keep the head as like an extension of the spine. So it's coming over to the side too. And let's bend the left knee, inhaling, come up. Step the left knee back to join the right, and let's step the right foot out. Inhale, exhale, over to the side into the lunge. And inhale back up. Exhale to the side, and inhale up. Third time, we're going to hold it in the down position. Just one more breath. See if you can let go a little bit more through the hips. And then inhale up, straightening the right leg. Exhaling over to the side. Really hinge at the right hip joint. Come on over, keep the spine nice and long. All right, bend the knee. Let's inhale, come up to standing. All right, we're going to do some circle of joy exercise here. I'll turn sideways. Bring the palms together at the heart. Let's inhale, interlace the fingers. Exhale, press palms forward. Inhale overhead, stretch toward the sky. Exhale, release the hands, circle behind. Interlace fingers again, lift the hands and the chest. Exhale, hands out in front and back to the heart. Inhale, interlace. Exhale, press forward. Inhale, tall. Exhale, behind. Inhale, lift, open, stretch. Exhale, way out in front and back to the heart. One more time, a little different this time. Inhale, interlace. Exhale, forward. Inhale overhead, and then over to your left. Inhale, back up. Over to your right. Inhale, up. Release the arms as you exhale behind. Interlaced, inhale, open, step the feet apart. Exhale, come forward at the hip joints, bring the hands back overhead. Let the body release the shoulders, backs of the legs, spine. And then soften the knees. Inhaling, reach up with the hands. Release the hands and circle them way up overhead. Stretch tall. Exhale. Circle back down. And step the feet back together. Let's come into Tadasana, comfortable. Standing position. Eyes upturned behind closed eyelids. Now we're going to start with Utkatasana, chair pose. We're just going to do the first phase of this pose. As we do it, we're going to do all of our asanas with an eye toward visualization, towards cultivating our ability to visualize. So I just like this first time through just to observe what's happened. Try to take in the total experience of doing this asana, because we're going to try and reproduce it in the mind's eye afterwards. Okay? So, with the palms forward, let's inhale. Come up on the balls of the feet, hold the breath, and come down into a crouching position. Not too deep, but not too comfortable either. You want your legs having to work a bit here. Keep the breath flowing now. And just notice all the sensations. What is your complete experience? Not what you're seeing so much outside of you, but what you're feeling inside the body, in the mind. A couple more breaths. Okay, let's inhale. Stretch up tall. Exhale. Relax the arms down. Relax the shoulders. Close the eyes and immediately try to reproduce that experience in your mind's eye. Feel it as if you were in the position right now, even though you're not. Just try to feel all those things that were happening. And just as we did earlier, we opened our eyes and tried to fill in the blanks. Let's do this again. Try to fill in the blanks of the experience this time. So we're just going to do the first phase of the pose again. Palms forward. Let's inhale up. And softly come down and let the breath resume and fill in any missing pieces of the asana experience. It's like you can reproduce everything. One more breath. And let's inhale. Come up. Exhale. Relax arms down into Tadasana once again. And close the eyes. Again, reproduce the experience. What was that? Can you feel just that all the details of that experience? We could do this over and over again. We're not going to, but this is just one way to cultivate your ability to visualize. But when you're talking about achieving a goal, you're not visualizing something that's already happening, or that's already happened, as we just did with the Utkatasana. You're visualizing something that you want to happen, and that's what we're going to explore with this next asana. We're going to explore Virabhadrasana 2, and Corey's going to demonstrate this for you, and I'd like you to just watch first. Watch him do this. He steps the feet wide apart, and he turns his left leg out 90 degrees, right leg rotates in, and he comes into the lunging position to the side, arms out to the sides, palms open to the sky, and he turns his gaze out over his left arm. So just observe a few things about the pose here so that you can tune into your pose. The nice vertical spine we're seeing. He's not leaning in the direction of his left arm. His shoulders are relaxed. His legs are working. They're both equally engaged in this. Just take these few details. And let's come out now, Corey, and back into Tadasana. And now you, close your eyes, visualize yourself in that asana. Visualize yourself with that vertical spine. Perfectly vertical spine. Relaxed shoulders. Legs very engaged. Breathing smooth. And let's do the pose to that same side. Step the feet wide apart. Turn the left leg out. Right leg rotates in. Now let's try to reproduce that on the physical level now. Inhale, open. Exhale into the lunging position, turning your gaze out over left arm, and see if you can match your visualization. If you don't need your eyes open for balance, close your eyes and try to reproduce that visualization, that experience of the vertical spine, the relaxed shoulders, very engaged legs. One more breath. And let's inhale, come up, exhaling, and relax arms down. Close the eyes for a moment and just compare how well were you able to reproduce that visualization in actuality. Let's try the other side. Do it the same way. First we'll watch Corey do it, and then we'll all do it together. So turn the right foot out 90 degrees, left foot rotates in, and go ahead and come into the pose. Nice deep lunging position. Shoulders are relaxed, the spine is vertical, gazing out over the right arm. And just see from him doing the asana, see what it can be like for you. Maybe you don't go down as deep as he does in this pose. That's okay. This is about taking the essence of his asana and taking it over into your own. Okay, come on out, Corey, and let's spend a moment before we all go into it, visualizing that experience. What can it be? Okay, how can you do it? Just visualize your Virabhadrasana too. All right, now let's do it. Let's turn the right leg out 90 degrees. Left leg rotates in. Let's inhale, open. Exhale. Bending into a nice deep lunge, whatever's appropriate for you. Turn the gaze out over the right arm. And try to match your asana with your visualization. The important thing is to match that feeling of the asana above all. Couple more breaths. Just how can you make little adjustments in the body to achieve the same experience you were visualizing? And let's inhale and come back to upright, toes forward. Exhaling, relax arms down, and let's step the feet back to Tadasana. Close the eyes and lift the gaze and just take stock of what's just happened. To what degree were you able to manifest your visualization? And that's what we're all trying to do when we're trying to achieve our goals. We have an image of where we want to go, and the stronger and clearer the feeling of that, the more we're going to be able to navigate the perhaps zigzagging up and down course that leads to it. Let's come down onto the floor now. We're going to do a twisting asana, Ardha Matsyendrasana. So we're going to come down to the floor with the right knee on the floor, right foot to the outside of left hip, and left foot either crossed over. If this doesn't work for you, you can keep the right leg straight, but we're going to both do it with the right knee bent. Sit bones resting evenly on the floor, so don't have that left sit bone lifting. Just close the eyes for a moment. Draw the left knee into your torso. And first, we're just going to, this first side, we're just going to do the first side and get a sense of what's happening with the spine. Just bring the left hand behind, pressing into the floor. Inhale, stretch up through the spine. Exhale, lead with the belly, coming around to your left. Finishing the twist with your turn of your head. And just focus on the feeling in the spine, not just the physical spine, but the energy spine in the center of your torso. And what's happening with that? All right, let's inhale, lengthen, exhale, come back out to center, and let's bring the left knee over the top of the right if that's comfortable for you. You could interlace fingers on the left knee or have the hands on the soles of the feet, your choice. But close the eyes and try to reproduce that feeling of what was happening in the spine. Can you feel it right now the way it was then? Let's take it a step farther for the second side now. First, let's just interchange the position of the legs before we get into the second side. Now, what this pose really can do for us on an energetic level is that the twisting of the spine from the bottom up is like squeezing energy up the spine to the heart. So I'd like to take a moment, close your eyes, and visualize energy being squeezed up the spine into the heart chakra, right in the center of your chest by the physical heart. Now let's try to manifest that visualization in the doing of the pose. See if we can really get a deeper feeling of that squeezing energy up the spine, right hand behind. Let's inhale. Exhale, leading around with the navel. Take several breaths to come into the twist. Don't be in a hurry. Slowly coming around to the side, squeezing energy up the spine. And just enjoy that feeling. It's not a one-time process. It's a continual squeezing throughout the time that you're holding the asana. Just bringing the life force up to the heart. And let's inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come back around into the knee over knee position, Virasana, hero pose. Let's close the eyes for a moment and take stock of what you are able to perceive and whether that could match your visualization. Let's try a different asana, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog pose. Okay, I'm going to tuck in my shirt a little bit here before we do this asana. On the hands and knees. And from this hands and knees position, take a moment to really make sure your spine is straight. So the back of the head is long. Don't look at the screen right now, just follow my directions. The back of the neck is long. And you feel equally open in the front side of the body and the back side. If you were sagging, you'd feel more open on the front than on the back. And just feel a straight spine, what that feels like, and try to imagine yourself going into downward facing dog and keeping that straight spine. It's the most critical part of this asana, is that straight spine. So match your physical experience now with the visualization. You might want to walk your hands a little bit forward before you go into the asana, depending on your body proportion. Turn the toes under. Let's inhale. Exhale, press back. Now I'm going to keep my knees a little bent. I encourage you to do so also if that's what's going to be necessary to keep your physical experience in line with your visualization. We'd like to have the legs straight, but not at the expense of a straight spine. Keep the breath flowing. Do you still have that image of the straight spine now being reproduced outwardly? If not, see if you can make little adjustments to make it so. A couple more breaths. And let's release down onto hands and knees into child pose. You can leave the hands out overhead along the floor as you relax in the child pose. Just let the shoulders soften. We'll just pause here for a few breaths. And then slide forward onto your belly. We're going to do a couple different versions of Salabhasana, locust pose. I'll do an easier version. Corey will do a little bit more challenging version with his arms up overhead along the floor. So if you have anything in your way, just move it out of your way so that you can extend the arms forward. But if you want to do the arms down by your sides version, which I'm going to do, please feel free to do that. But before we go into the pose, we can use the Ananda Yoga affirmation as a way to help us get into the feeling of the pose. Even trying the affirmation before you get into the asana. And then try to match the asana with the feeling of the affirmation. The affirmation for this asana is, I soar upward on wings of joy. I soar upward on wings of joy. Just take a moment to get into that affirmation. Say it to your mind several times. I soar upward on wings of joy. Now let's come up into the asana with that affirmation, with that feeling in mind. Inhaling, lifting legs, arms, chest, head. Everything comes up. Soar upward on wings of joy. Let's keep the breath flowing. Be joyful. Be energetic. Rise like a bird, soaring upward on wings of joy. One more breath. And slowly relax down to the floor. Once again, turn your head to one side. Let the body grow soft. And then press back into child pose. The back side of the body release a bit. We're going to finish our asana practice with an inversion. Simple inverted pose, Viparita Karani. This is one place where visualization can be especially helpful, because in all yoga practice, what we're trying to do is to bring energy to the brain. And when we turn the body upside down, as we're about to do, the force of gravity, the subtle gravity, can help to draw energy toward the brain, but you can help the force of subtle gravity with your visualization. So, let's spread a blanket, a folded blanket on the floor so you can protect your cervical curve. And lie with shoulders on the blanket, head just off the blanket. And then under control, when you come up into the pose, we're going to raise the legs to a vertical position and then lift the hips off the ground and bring your hands to the base of the spine, the fingertips on the tailbone. It's where you want them. The legs are as close to vertical as possible, so there's a bend at the hip joints. Close the eyes, lift the gaze to the point between the eyebrows, and begin to visualize energy pouring through the spine to the brain. Remember, part of your visualization is feeling. Whether you can feel it objectively or not, if you visualize that happening, you will begin to influence objective reality. And you can use the affirmation to help you. Silently affirm, awake my sleeping powers. Awake. Awake my sleeping powers. Awake. Like your brain is opening like a chalice to receive the energy cascading through your spine, into the head, into the brain, and above all to the point between the eyebrows. One last breath. And then gracefully release, under control, coming back onto the floor, all the way down. Just pause for a moment here. And then take the blanket out from underneath you. Just put it off to the side. Lie back in Shavasana corpse pose. You can visualize here as well. The body relaxed, your gaze turned toward the point between the eyebrows. Just imagine, what is perfect relaxation? The perfect relaxation of the body, is where you're not aware of the body at all. You could be if you wanted to, but you're not. And the breath, of course, is still happening, but it's very shallow, very easy. The brain is still doing what the brain does. It thinks, but it's slowing down. It's relaxing. Just feel relaxation on all levels, in the mind's eye and in reality. But your visualization can assist and deepen your outward reality. Bring your awareness back to the body once again. Let the breath deepen a bit. And move the hands and feet a little bit, and the arms and legs as well. Roll the head from side to side. Reach the arms up overhead along the floor. Inhaling, lengthen up through the fingertips and stretch down through the feet. Exhaling, bend the knees, bring them up, wrap your arms around them, squeeze them in and roll left and right across the spine a few times. And over onto one side. And let your head be last to come up as you push back to an upright position. Sitting comfortably, either cross-legged on the floor or in a chair. Paramahansa Yogananda made a very important point, many important points, but this is one of them. He said the brain carries not only the memories of past misfortune, of past failure, of past illness, but it actually carries tendencies toward failure, toward misfortune, toward illness. He called them the seeds of failure. And that these seeds of failure are actually wired into your brain, physically wired into your brain. This is something that recent medical research has only uncovered in the last small number of years. Yogananda was talking about this long before that. That whatever habit you have, whatever has occurred over and over again, literally repatterns your brain. So Yogananda recommended a technique called scouring the brain of failure tendencies, cleaning them out. And that's what we're going to do now. Let's sit nice and tall with a straight spine, eyes closed, gazing upward toward the point between the eyebrows, and become intensely interested at the point between the eyebrows. Feel that your interest alone is turning your eyes upward. This is the center of concentration in the body. Feel that with each passing breath, your concentration, your interest is growing stronger. Until you feel like a powerhouse of concentration. And now begin to bring up from the rest of your body the peace from your asana practice, the relaxation. Bring it up into the brain and merge it with that intense concentration. That you now have a mixture of peace and concentration. And begin to circulate that mixture throughout your brain. As Yogananda put it, scouring the brain cells of failure tendencies. Don't worry about where those tendencies may be or what they may look like. Just feel a continual scouring, cleaning of the brain through the power of peace and concentration merged. Enjoy this process, this cleansing, this freeing you of any tendency toward failure. You are becoming free. Slowly bring your awareness back out again. As you're ready, you can open the eyes. And take into you, with your next activity, take with you a certainty that you have cleansed yourself of some tendency toward failure or misfortune. It can be real. If your power of visualization is strong enough, many things can happen in this life. Many wonderful things, many goals achieved, much joy attained. Joy to you.